Hello, I would like to address some of the most common questions asked here. People asking what is the best? What is the best DAW? What is the best microphone? What's the best computer? And that seems a little bit silly, and it's a really vague question. For example, what is the best microphone? Well, there's no such a thing as best. Best for what? Best for vocal, best for piano, best for orchestra. What's your price range? I can tell you a great $10,000 microphone, but that might not work for you. So when you ask such questions, make sure you specify where you're coming from, what's your level of experience, what's your budget, and also what's your availability. Don't forget, some brands or some items might or might not be available in certain parts of the world. Let's keep that in mind. I guess the best question to ask in that situation is explain where you're coming from and then ask for suggestions. For example, hey, I'm a new singer, I just have a bedroom studio, I have a small computer and an interface. I've been using a cheap microphone and I would like to upgrade to a condenser microphone. I'm singing R&B. What would be a suggestion? What would be the best choice for me in a $200-300 range? So this way you will explain where you're at and what's your situation. Let's even say that you can afford to buy a $10,000 microphone, but if you don't have a good preamp, if you don't have a good interface, if you're not going to have a great engineer working on that song, your money is not going to be well worth spending that on a microphone. When you finish a song and you're happy with it, you're enjoying it, brings you joy, brings you happiness, and other people enjoying it, guess what? They don't care what microphone you use, what interface you use, they don't care about that. Okay? So don't forget that the software, the Cubase, the DAW, the plugins, the hardware, the microphone, the interface, they're just tools. You have to know how to use the tools you have. So let's start with beginner or less advanced users that already have a setup, okay? So I see a lot of people here on the forums that they just got the interface, they just got a computer, they just got a microphone, and they're asking what is the best plugins to use. Again, there's not such a thing as a best. What I would suggest here, if you already have a setup, I would suggest you learn and maximize and get the best use of your current setup. And allow me to explain. So for example, if you start recording and you still need to learn how to sing and you're not really good at producing, then getting a better microphone, getting better plugins is not going to teach you how to sing, is not going to teach you how to produce, and is not going to teach you how to mix. Make sure you get to a certain level before you move on to the next level, okay? That's very important. Use what you have and learn how to use what you have before you move to the next level. Another type of question that I see happening a lot here is how can I get that sound? How can I get the best sounding vocal? Well, again, you have to explain where you're at and what are your resources. I mean, I see people, well, how can I make a good song? Easy. Hire a great singer, go to a great studio, have a great producer, and have a great song. There you go. You won't get your answer that you're looking for if you just ask a generic question. Another type of question that I see here is related to hardware. So here are few things to consider before looking into upgrading your hardware. First of all, as I mentioned before, do you really need that? if you're still learning how to sing and trying to find your song, a better microphone might not help you a lot. Okay, if you don't know how to record, getting a better interface is not going to help you either. Make sure you are ready for the upgrade. Make sure you're at the stage where you already maximize what you have and you're ready for the next stage. Otherwise, it will be just more confusing for you guys. I promise you that. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want to suggest you guys don't buy nicer hardware. Absolutely. If you can afford it, yeah, absolutely. Is it going to make things easier? Yes, absolutely. Is it going to sound better and help you and give you better results? Yes. But is that going to make a better music and better sound just because you have better equipment? Absolutely not. You have to decide when you upgrade that, if you're ready to upgrade. If you can afford it and you can do it, absolutely. But if it's something that you think that you're not ready, then just wait and learn how to use your current setup. For people that they're just thinking of start recording and they want to start, they don't really know where to start from or what to do, I noticed there are usually two type of people here. They are usually musicians. They've been around studios or they recorded in the past. They know their craft, or singers for that matter. You know, they sang, they play in a band, they play an instrument. They are pretty good with what they do, and now they just want to build their own studio. They want to rehearse, they want to record themselves, and so on. And there are also the other type of people that they just like to try that. They're not sure if they're gonna like it. They're not sure what they want to do. They're not sure if they want to produce, if they want to record. Let me address first the absolute beginner person that doesn't play an instrument. They're not sure what to do. They just would like to start recording. Where do you start? Well, first of all, I think you'll have to figure out what exactly would you like to do. Okay? It's just like getting into a car and start driving without having a direction. And then ask people, how do I get there? How do you get where if you have no direction? So you won't get anywhere. So figure out if you want to go this route, if you want to record, that's absolutely okay. But figure out what would you like to do. And if you just want to test the waters, if you just want to figure things out, that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, get a computer, get an interface, and go at it. There are plenty of tutorials out there. You can find plenty of information. Okay? But if you want to reach a certain goal, you want to be a producer, you want to be a mixing engineer, you'd like to start playing an instrument and record, you'd like to, I don't know, make a podcast or so on and so on, then start chasing that goal. Try to get the direction and head to that direction, okay? When you start, there is that tendency where you might want to like to do everything. Well, I like to play my instrument, but then I like to mix, I like to produce, you know, I like to master my song, and I would like to sound just like you hear on the radio. And I see that a lot, and if I feel a little sad. Okay, so you have less than 6 months experience in recording, right? So with your 6 month experience in recording and maybe $5,000 investment in equipment, you expect to actually sound like a team of professionals that have 10-20 years experience each on their related field. Okay, you want to sound exactly like a great singer. They've been doing that for all their life. That's all they did. They studied. That's all they do. They're singing. Great producer or a great band. That's all they did. All they did is play their instrument and work on their craft. Okay, then you compete with a professional studio that invested thousands and thousands of dollars and hundreds of maybe thousands of hours of setting up and getting the best sound. Okay, then you're competing with a mixing engineer. That's all they do. They just mix songs. All right, and also a mastering engineer that they take this amazing mix and they just make sure it sounds great on any device. All right, so with your 6 month experience, you think that you're going to make something comparable with that. And I'm sorry to tell you that, but unfortunately it's not going to happen. All right, now I'm not saying you won't make a good song. I'm not saying that people won't enjoy your song. Absolutely, but you have to be realistic, and you have to know where you at and what you can do, and learn from there. Okay, that's kind of important. Now I would like to address the second type of newcomers, of people that set up their recording studios, and those are musicians. So they sing or they play their instrument, they work on their craft for years, and they just decided they want to record that, and that's fantastic. The first thing that they need to figure out is, what exactly are you planning to do? Just as I mentioned earlier, set a goal. For example, your goal is to just record yourself. Is your goal to record your band? Is your goal to produce? Go from there and start building your studio around your goal. And here's why. If you are trying to record your band, first you'll have to make sure that you have the space. Then you'll have to make sure that you have the interface that you'll be able to record all your bandmates. Okay? And also make sure that you have the gear you need if you want to use external instruments, external hardware, why not? So all that you have to take into consideration if you're planning to do this. Okay, just recording in a room might not work, and then you'll have to change in different setups and different setups and different setups. Okay, so setting your goal from the beginning will save you a lot of headaches. And then here comes the interface, microphones, and the rest of the hardware. What is the best? Well, this is a very tricky question. Only the person planning, the person setting up, that you have the answer. Nobody can give you the correct answer for that, because nobody can decide your budget. Nobody can tell you what you can and cannot get. Also, there's another issue. Some people like to buy brand new gear. They like the feeling that, hey, I'm starting a new studio, I'm starting from the beginning, I would like to have warranty on my gear, and I want to buy from a certified seller, or why not? And that's great. Some people, they're okay with getting the best value for the money. They don't mind gambling a little bit. They don't mind getting some gear that might have some issues, but they know they get the best value for their money. So this is also another important issue that you have to decide what you like to do. There are pros and cons for each one, obviously, so, but ultimately that is your decision. Last but not least, what's your budget? Let's get real here. Why do you think that people would spend thousands and thousands of dollars on equipment if you can get exactly the same results and works the same as a less expensive unit? It doesn't. Okay? As a rule of this world, pretty much you get what you pay for. So you either decide to buy something higher quality, that you spend more money, or buy something of less quality, but that you learn and you learn how to use. And a very, very important factor here is always remember that most professional high-end hardware, and I'm referring mostly to interfaces, preamps, and external effects, they are harder to learn how to use. So it will take you longer to learn how to use a professional unit that will be to just get a simple unit and start from there. Now, I'm not saying that if you want and if you can afford, don't buy a professional unit or a professional equipment. I'm not saying that, but just be prepared that buying something more advanced, buying some more advanced piece of gear also comes with a higher price tag and also steeper learning curve. So just be aware of that. And one more mention I would like to make here is to remember that you have to look at the recording process as a whole. Okay, just because you have the best microphone, that doesn't mean that you'll get the best recording. Okay, so there's a chain here, and everything has to be about the same level to get about the same level quality if you want. For example, if you have a $100 interface and a $10,000 microphone, guess what? You're not gonna get your money worth of your microphone because you hook it up to a cheap interface. Okay, that's not gonna have the range, the quality to get full use of your microphone. Okay, so just keep that into consideration. All right, another point that I want to touch today, it's about the ever war between Mac and PC. Should I get a Mac? Should I get a PC? And here's the deal, guys. Just stop it. Stop it. Nobody cares that you have a PC or a Mac. Absolutely nobody cares. You know what computer you should get? The one that you can afford, that you can get, and you know how to use. If you never used a Mac in your life, why would I suggest someone to buy a Mac and learn how to use that? Waste some time there when they can just get something that they're comfortable with. The answer here is get the computer that you're comfortable and you're familiar with. Absolutely 100%. Okay, it doesn't matter. With today's technology, you get similar results regardless of the platform you're using, Mac or PC. Now let's talk about desktop versus laptops. So I know this might be a little bit of a debatable issue, and all I can do is give you my perspective. There's no question that laptops are getting more advanced and they're getting more features. However, you have to decide the space you have and how you're going to use your computer. For example, if you're just planning to record in a small corner of your bedroom, then probably a laptop would be a better choice for you. However, if you have a decent space where would you like to record and you're planning to spend hours and hours and hours, remember that laptops are made to be portable, but they lack the cooling capabilities of regular desktops. Meaning that if you're going to use a laptop for hours and hours every day, you have a chance of getting overheating issues. And also, a laptop for the same specs would be more expensive than a desktop. So if you have the space and you can, I'll definitely suggest you get a desktop computer. Also, another thing here is that desktop, it's a lot more upgradable. First and foremost, you can change your screen. If you buy a laptop, that's it. You have that screen. Obviously, you can hook it up to a different monitor, but pretty much you get what you get, and that's it. Okay. Not to mention, it's harder to upgrade the RAM, but also a very important thing that it's often overlooked in building a home studio. The projects and file size are getting bigger and bigger. So you might need to upgrade your hard drive, not only the RAM, but also hard drive. Also, you can hook up more peripherals. You can get more cards, more processing cards. You can even upgrade your processor easier on a desktop. So those are the things to take into consideration when choosing what computer you want to get for your studio.